I'm going to show you how to create texture masks using a painting program that isn't Substance. So something like Krita or Clip Studio Paint. In this case, I'm going to be using Krita just because it's free and I know how to use it. There are a few steps to this. First off, we have to get the UV wireframe of our mesh. This is going to be done in Blender. Next up, we're going to be importing that wireframe into our painting program and drawing on top of it. And then lastly, we're going to be taking the texture that we create and using it in Unity to mask out things on our material. So let's get started. Step one is to get the UV wireframe of the material. I have the mesh here loaded in Blender. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the UV editing tab right here at the top. And we're going to be put into this little funky thing over here with two screens. So I'm already in edit mode here, but you might not be. You might be in object mode. In which case you want to select the body of your avatar or whatever kind of object you want to be painting the mask of. And we're going to go into this material thing right here. Next up, we're going to go into edit mode. I just press Control Tab and go into edit mode. Now we're going to select the material that we want to export the UV wireframe for. So in my case, it's going to be the body. So I'm going to click select that. And now it's going to select all the vertices that correspond to that material. And as you can see in this other tab, we have this funky looking wireframe, which is the thing that we need to export. So now in this window, we're going to go over to UV, export UV layout. I'm going to set the fill opacity to 1 and set the size to be 4096, just so it's higher resolution. Now, I'm just going to export that. I'm also going to do this for the fluff. So, I'm going to click on the body again, deselect, click on the fluff, select. And now, same thing, UV, export UV layout. Going to name this fluff.png. And now the size and the fill opacity have been remembered, so we're going to export that. Now, I'm going to keep Blender running in the background because we're going to need to come back to this to actually help us with the wireframe. So let's go into our painting program now. I'm going to be using Krita. And let's open those files that we've just exported. Okay, so this is the body right here. And we can start masking things out. I'm going to be creating a deformation and dripping mask. However, there's one trick that you need to know. Sometimes it's kind of hard to know exactly which parts these correspond to. Like, for example, what is this exactly? I don't know. Like, what are these little thingies right here? I'm not sure. It's not obvious. It's obvious that this is the head, but I'm not sure what this is. How do you find that out? Well, we can go back into Blender. We can go to body. We can click this little two-sided arrow thing right here. It'll show everything. And then we can find that part in this big mess. Click on it and press L. And now, the selection between this and the model view is going to be linked. So now we see that we've selected this little like side fluff thing here. And the vertices that we select here are going to also be selected here. And the same thing goes the other way around. We can select vertices here, or faces, and they'll be selected over here. I'm pressing L to select the whole thing. So this way we can kind of figure out which parts of the model correspond to this UV layout here. So now we know that this is the side fluff. Now we can tell that, oh, hey, this part right here, this is the ear fluff. Okay, cool. So now we can just start painting these things. Back in Krita. So the way you paint the mask here is you want to use something kind of soft and you want to fill this in with either black or white to start. You're going to be painting in grays pretty much. So I'm just going to create a new paint layer and just fill white. And white is going to correspond to places where the mask isn't going to be hiding things, and black is going to be corresponding to places where the mask is going to be hiding things. So for example, if I want to mask the head out, I'm going to be painting the head to be black. So let's just do something like that right here. So set the opacity to that. And we can turn on symmetry as well. Doesn't need to be that. We can actually use a hard brush here. Will give us better results as well. So there you go. We can just kind of paint this like that. Right, and now the head is not going to be black anymore. And of course, before exporting, you're going to want to hide the background here and export it like that. So yeah, I think these are going to be teeth. Right. At least I think so. Yeah, those are going to correspond to teeth. So I also want to mask those out. We've learned that that is the fluff. So I'm also going to be hiding like that. That's probably going to be the tongue. It's going to be pretty much it for the head here. And I can also start doing the hands. That looks like the hands to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of a softer brush here, and I'm going to be airbrushing the hands with mirror on. So we have a bit of a fall off. And yeah, I'm also going to try to get a little bit of the neck as well. It's not going to be perfect because of the way that the unwrap works here, but it's going to be good enough. That's kind of the gist of what you need to do here, right? You're going to want to do this for both the fluff as well and whatever things you want to mask out. And now I'm just going to export this, hiding that layer, of course, as a PNG, and then put this into Unity. So let's go into export, and then let's do, this is going to be the drip deform mask. So save that. And now I'm going to be loading that up into Unity, so see you in a bit. So now we're in Unity, and we have our mask right here. Let's start using it. So let's go on the body, go into mask channels, enable one of the texture masks right here. It doesn't need to be specifically texture 1. It could be any one of these that isn't used. Let's drag the drip deform mask over here. It's going to say that it expects a non-sRGB texture, but this is fine because we painted this ourselves, so it is sRGB. Like, you don't have to fix this. This is how it needs to be. This is fine. So now that we have the mask channel right here, we're going to name it to be the drip deform mask. Doesn't really matter which channels we use here because they're all going to be the same except the alpha mask. The alpha mask is going to be completely white. As you can see in the preview right here, the red, green, and blue, they're all the same. Now let's set this up on the GUI itself. So deformation, set the texture to the red channel, for example, and then the dripping texture to that. And voila, we have our mask. Certain things need to be tweaked, like for example, there's some, oh, the nails are gooey still and they're moving. The head looks good. We seem to have nailed the neck as well. You can click the little eye here to preview stuff as well. Yeah, so what I would do here is I would go back into Blender, try to figure out where the nailed UVs are. Oh, they're the things at the bottom. So let's go ahead into our painting program here and just, okay, export that as the drip deform mask. Now back over here, it's still being exported because Krita is a little bit slow sometimes. There you go. Okay, we missed the beans still, so let's figure out where the beans are. Or no, we missed something. I'm not quite sure what we missed exactly. We definitely missed something. Does look like maybe the beans. So we can kind of select an area here. Yeah, it is the beans. We did miss the beans. So let's go back. These two ones, the ones that are most to the side, we're going to mask those out. There's going to be a lot of back and forth that you're going to be doing. Oh, I had mirror on. We don't want to mess the tail out. Don't forget to hide the mask itself before exporting the little like helper wireframe that we have. There you go. We're still missing a single bean from the looks of it. Where is the bean that we're missing? Ah, this one. Export. There we go. Our hands are now good. And so, yeah, you could do the same thing here for the fluff as well. You'll have to make a new texture mask that you're going to be using and set it up as well. And yeah, that's how you mask stuff using a painting program and Blender. Have fun.